everyone, Kimberly Castleberry here with JustAskKim.com, and we are road tripping. All right, I am 2 hours into the road trip. I'm headed down to Savannah, Georgia, and I've got 13 hours ahead of me. Ooh, yeah, fuck, 13 hours? Yeah, I'm real thrilled. I sound thrilled, right? If I sound thrilled, you're missing the sarcasm here. I enjoy road trips, enjoy the road time, and it really was intentional to get out here and clear my head. But it really got me thinking, because it is a lot of grind. It is a lot of to get to where I want to be. And that's very similar to where we're at in business. If you want the results, you have to be willing to focus on those results and push through all that grind in the middle. And, you know, that's the same aspect, that's the same keep your eye on the ball that everybody talks about in business when they talk about your why. Now, your why can be a number of things, but regardless of what it is, it has to be a deep emotional aspect that stirs you. It has to be something you want so bad that you're willing to push through all the obstacles, all the struggle, do the stuff that scares other people to do, and do it. And the average person won't. If you want what other people don't have, you have to do what other people won't do. It's really that simple. And so a lot of people talk about this why, and they go on about the why. A why is very personal because it has to stir you at an emotional level. And there's a lot of people that can teach you about these things. And there's really two types of why. And most people only focus on the first one. And the first one is a dream. Get a dream. You focus on what it is you dream for, what it is you long for, what stirs your soul, what, moves you in such a way that you're willing to get out of your comfort zone, that you're willing to get, into action, what makes you that, that emotionally inspired, that you will do what you need to do. And, you can talk about lifestyle, you can talk about legacy, you can talk about immediate results, you can talk about, providing for your kids, providing for your family, etc., etc. Talking about dreams is kind of a horse beat to death, because in my mind, it's not the only way to approach this. There's an awful lot of people out here that have real trouble building an effective dream that will stir them hard enough to get them into motion. And that's not that there's anything wrong with dream building. Dream building is very important. And even the person that uses the second method will need to come back to dream building when the second method doesn't work quite so well. But what we have is we have a culture that has been, in some ways, had dreaming be out of them, that has had this ability to dream very lost. And whether you say it's because we're an entitlement society, or whether you say it's because we, don't look big picture, or regardless of who you blame for this, it's very true. There's a lot of people that have great difficulty dreaming. And often it's because they're caught up in the day-to-day grind. They're caught up in the lack of results they've had their entire life. They're caught up in this fear. And you get another class of people of which life is just too comfy. Life is just too easy at the moment, okay? It's too difficult to get out of that really soft love seat. Get off your ass and do the things you need to do, because you've got a lifestyle that the average person would be pretty darn thrilled with. But you know what? In your heart, you're probably not. But it's very hard when you're comfy to build a dream big enough that's going to get you off your ass. And so you have this whole collective of people, whether they're you or whether they're people you're bringing into your business, for which dream building may not be the most perfect initial why. Okay? It's not going to make a long-term why out of the second method, but for an initial why, you can actually stir somebody harder and faster a lot of the time if you can teach them to leverage the power of that fear, to take that fear and instead of a dream, build a dread, okay? Create a fear base that isn't just this little transient people throw up their hands at it. You have to provide people with an outlet, with a result that will correct for this fear. You have to have something in your life as a result that will correct for this fear if you work your ass off for it, if you're willing to hustle, if you're passionate enough about that emotion that you will hustle out here. Passion has to be strong enough that, you know, to borrow Gary Vaynerchuk's expression, you'll work your face off. And you've got to be that passionate so that it doesn't feel like you're working your face off, or you simply won't do it. You know, it just won't happen. You'll procrastinate, or you'll get burned out, or you'll give up, or something will come along. If your passion isn't in place, if that strong emotion, you know, regardless of whether it's a dream or a dread, if that passionate emotion is not in place, if it doesn't stir you deep in your soul, if you can't spin on it and think on it and get more scared or more thrilled if you're building a dream and move forward on it, then it's not hot enough to get you the results you want. And once you get it to a point that it's hot enough to get you the results you want, then whether it's a dream or a dread, you stand on the shoulders of these whys and you're able to see over your obstacles. You stand on the shoulders of these whys and it gives you great vision because you can see as your mountains become molehills because you can see over them. You can see that you can see what comes beyond them, and it is easier to be willing to go through them, to endure that grind, to endure that risk of rejection, to endure all those things that scare you to your core, and, you know, to let you be willing to do the things that scare you to your core, because we as people don't generally want to move that direction. You know, the things that scare us, we tend to go, no thanks. And unless you have a why that's big enough, unless you have that passion, you're not going to move forward. So when you take that fear, oftentimes, if you can be smart about it, if you can not get desperate, if you can use it in a smart way and not let it cause you to make stupid mistakes, you can use it as your most powerful tool out here. Okay? And it becomes that because it makes you willing to keep your nose into your work, into your business, to do the things that will make you money, to stop the procrastinating, to move forward, to call those leads, to do all the stuff that just fucking sucks. Okay? And it's when you get there, and for example, a lot of people have been asking me, how am I getting the results I'm getting at the moment? Why have I had such an explosion of traffic? Why have I had some name recognition starting? Why is my name known throughout a couple pocket communities? You know, why? Why? What's doing it? Well, what's doing it is that I'm simply doing the fucking work, and that's not work that, you know, some of it's great. I'm very passionate about what I do, but a lot of it is daily grind. A lot of it is stuff that sucks. A lot of it is stuff that I wouldn't voluntarily do if I had, you know, a much more cushy life. But the fact is I don't, because I've taken that fear. I've taken the fear of the divorce I'm going through. I've taken the fear of the loss of financial stability. I've taken the fear of the rejection of having to go back to work based on my health and all the times I've been fired based on my health. I've taken, you know, the limitations based on my health. I've taken all of it and I've stirred it up, and I've stirred it deep in my soul, and I've let it affect me at such a way that with, you know, all the changes that I've made in life, and I've even made some changes and some choices that force me forward. There's no going backwards. There is no failure. Failure's not an option here. And when you get to that point, when you burn those boats, when you build that fire under your ass, suddenly failure isn't an option and success is a given. And even if you're spinning fear, the minute that success becomes a given, you develop posture. The minute you've got posture, you've got the cookie. The minute you've got posture, you've got people clamoring to you to find out what you've done and how you're doing it. The minute you've got that, you know, that fear under control and you've got that posture in place, then you've got your results. And when you've got your results, suddenly the fear fades away. And now you come back to having to dream build. Okay, now you come back to where you build on what really inspires you rather than scares the piss out of you. And you build on the things that you really want in life. And you move forward that way. But for a lot of people, and definitely where I'm at the moment, is I am building everything that I'm doing at this moment based on the fear of what's going on around me, based on my belief that having now burned the boats, I hope to never have to burn the boats again. And that means I get this leverage chance once in a lifetime. It is now or it's never. This business is going to work now or it's not going to work. I choose now. I choose now because it's inevitable, because it's already happening. Look at the traction. Look at the movement. Look at the momentum forward. And I've built it on fear. But you don't hear me out here begging. You don't hear me out here losing posture. You don't hear me out here doing these things that imply that I'm living in this scare. No, because that's stuff that I keep deep inside and that I let move me. That's the fire that's under my ass that you don't see in the video. That's the fire that drives me deep inside. And I have things I want to do. I have things I'm very passionate about. I have things that inspire me to move forward in positive, constructive manners as well, and that helps temper that fear. And that fear becomes this incredibly powerful ally out here and is going to let you get the results you want if you've not been effective in dream building. And I definitely was there. I wasn't effective in dream building. Life was a little too comfy, and you know, it's hard for me to dream. It really is. I was just there. And it didn't all start to come together for me until I got scared. The minute I got scared, oh yeah, suddenly things work a little better. Suddenly I'm willing to do things that I couldn't do before. Don't you like that? Couldn't, but now I can. Suddenly, those obstacles on the road, that road map we made before, we look at that road map now, and suddenly those 13 hours aren't so scary. Suddenly, they're just a travel point along the way. They're just things that when you're scared, when you're moving forward, when there's a fire under your ass, you're just going to do them. You're not going to question them. You're not going to pick them apart. You're not going to say, I'll do them when I get it perfect. You're not going to say, I'll do it when I'm not scared. Like, I'll call those leads later. No, you'll call those fucking leads today. You'll call and you'll do that stuff and you'll do the difficult stuff that really scares you, and then you'll get the results you want. And you'll get them and you'll be moving forward, and it may be mile markers on the road. It's not going to be overnight success. No one gets that. You know, all the big gurus hype their overnight success. Well, tough luck. Most of us have to work the long, hard road. Come work the long, hard road with me. We're getting results. We're moving forward. We know our why. Know your why. Know what your dream is or know what your dread is. And as soon as you do, you'll get the results you want. And as soon as you start moving forward, it'll feel better. It'll make more sense. It'll start to come together. I promise you that. I promise you those results if you can get your why. And come join me for the journey. Come share the journey with me. Come tell me what your dream is, what your dread is, what drives you, what lights that fire under your ass so red hot that nothing can stand in your way. And if you don't know that, you need to go and set this video aside and figure it out. Figure it out what lights you, because that is more important than any amount of tedious other grind here. Okay? Any other stuff you could be doing is superficial fluff in place of knowing your why. Until you know your why, you're not going to get those results. Get your why together and join me for success. I'll meet you there. Kimberly Castleberry, signing out.